Have you used CBD, THC, or Rick Simpson oil to fight cancer? I have. What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about using CBD, THC, or RSO, known as Rick Simpson oil, to help fight cancer. So I told you guys in my first video that in 2014-15 I was on a really strong chemotherapy medicine, and at the end of 2015 I finished, and at the time I was doing PET scans every 4 months, 3 times a year. So I was doing PET scans April, August, and December. And in August I had a negative PET scan, and I was still just finishing up my first chemotherapy medicine, so that was to be expected. And then I finished like in September or October, and by December my cancer had already returned. I was walking through Walmart actually in St. Charles, Missouri, and I got a call from my oncologist. She said, "We found a tumor on your right lung," and it was 0.8 centimeters. I had to go in for some more tests, and I found out that it was 0.8 centimeters. Obviously I was scared, and I had already for the whole previous year been looking into like CBD oil and THC oil, Rick Simpson oil. A really good friend of mine from high school suggested that we go out to Colorado and buy some of this oil. This is the actual exact oil that we picked up in Colorado. So CBD oil, it's not going to help you with cancer. It's not going to do anything. It might help the symptoms, it might help nausea, it might help a little bit of the pain, but it's not going to do anything as far as preventing cancer or helping stop the growth of tumors. This is what's known in the past to have helped with tumors and cancer. It has to be really high in CBD and high in THC. So my buddy suggested we go out there. We took a little road trip out to Colorado, and I bought probably like 25 or 30 of these. Now the ironic thing is, I've never done drugs in my whole life except for marijuana a few times, and I have always hated marijuana. I can't say the same for my buddy Justin. He kind of is a really big fan of this. But for me, it just always made me feel really lazy and like I wanted to sleep all day, do nothing. And this is so much stronger than just your regular street marijuana, right? So this is like 0.9 milliliters. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but this is actually this little bit right here is 750 milligrams. It was on the packaging that it came with. It said 75 doses, and I was supposed to start out with like a half a grain of rice a day. So when I found out, it was I think just after Christmas, probably in January, I found out, and my oncologist at the VA hospital pretty much wanted to do surgery right away because of my history of melanoma. But the surgeon, he wanted to let my tumor grow. So he said so he could have usable tissue to dissect it and I guess look at it or do whatever. And they kind of butted heads a little bit. So my oncologist, she actually brought my case to a medical review board, I believe at Barnes-Jewish Hospital in St. Louis. She worked at the VA and she also worked there. And the review board was like, I guess, a couple doctors, a couple nurses, surgeons, a pharmacist, and maybe a charge nurse or something. I don't know exactly who was on the board. A bunch of different medical professionals, and their opinion was basically, no, he has a history of melanoma. You don't let the tumor grow. Remove it right away. So they sent me in for more scans and everything. And we had driven out to Colorado, I believe in maybe late January or early February. And when I got home, I started taking this immediately, right away. I didn't end up having my surgery until April, I believe, around the beginning of April. So right before my surgery, they sent me in for more tests. You know, they needed to pinpoint the area where they were going to remove the tumor on my lung. And so I used this for probably almost 2 months. And when they went back in, they noticed that my tumor was still 0.8 centimeters. So it did not grow. The whole time I was on this, it didn't grow, which to me says that it probably was working, you know what I mean? Because I had a really high mitotic rate. That's what your rate of mitosis is, what causes cancer to branch off and spread, right? 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. So I would think that in that period of time, that if I wasn't taking this, my tumor probably would have grown a little bit. But I would say this, especially being someone that hates marijuana, this stuff is so strong, I would have to take a dose right at night. I wouldn't wake up till noon. And then when I woke up, it was time to take another dose. I'd go right back to sleep till 5. At 5 o'clock, I'd wake up and take another dose. And I would basically I would sleep all day. Basically, I felt like I had no life. I had no quality of life. I was depressed. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to do anything. So basically, I stopped taking this, and I just relied on traditional medicine. I am keeping it just in case my cancer ever comes back or spreads to my brain. That's my biggest fear, is that it spreads to my brain, so I am keeping this around just for that reason. And when I was up in St. Pete, a buddy of mine, he actually had brain cancer, and he ordered a bunch of this stuff to take because he had read so much positive stuff about it. I gave him a syringe full, but it was probably just too late. He died within like maybe another 2 weeks after I gave him this. I don't even think he probably finished one syringe, and he passed away. So honestly, I mean, if you can tolerate it, if you like marijuana, this probably really does work for you, because like I said, it stopped the growth completely of my tumor. It didn't shrink it, and who knows, maybe if I had stayed on it for longer, maybe it could have actually shrunk this tumor. But my doctors wanted me to have surgery right away, and that's what I did. So hopefully this will give you a little insight. If you're dealing with something similar and you're thinking about using this, just know that it probably really did work for me, and I'm sure it's worked for others. I just thought I'd let you know. So remember, cancer kills. Fight back.